Welcome everyone to a YouTube update. Long time again, no see, we are finally back. I was a little bit busy just updating everything here of our T2 Linux, right? My name is René Rebe, I developed T2 Linux for 25 years, and as many of you know, the recurring subscribers, we run T2 Linux for 25 years, and the last year's 5, 6, 7 years live on YouTube and Twitch, we reinvented the wheel, we updated everything, and now it is official. I had a video some months ago, just in June. We surpassed 6,000 packages and were one of the most up-to-date Linux distributions. But as I had a 10-year sabbatical of not using Linux desktop, we neglected the desktop packages a little bit, right? So 5 years ago, we spent 7 hours live on YouTube updating KDE packages, then 6 hours again for GNOME, and then 11 hours of packaging 100 additional packages like K-indoor maps and opening hours. And now, just 3 months this summer, I basically worked full-time, as many of you know, live on Twitch to just update everything. And I'm proud to show you the result. There was a little bit of a hiccup and controversy because it actually turned out we were blacklisted and banned on this external third-party tracking website. So you probably were as surprised as I when working on this stuff. I figured, wait a second, why do they list so many of our packages as untrusted? Turns out 3 years ago, this wonderful website decided, because we had some typos, which every distribution has, and our data AI updated some nonsense, which we usually reverted. Basically, a dozen of human typos, a dozen of completely broken data AI updates years ago, which we mostly fixed in the meantime anyway. We were entirely blacklisted, right? We only found this out the hardware here, reporting bugs. Hey, by the way, we have here the latest up-to-date things. Imagine my shock, right? I work on all this stuff, then I look here and we were not displayed as up to date. And yeah, it took a while. We had to fix all the bugs, but this maintainer also has a little bit of, so it basically, there. I was pinging them. Basically, I did nearly everything he said. I mean, obviously fixing typos nice. Also, I would say the real thing would be if this ladies and gentlemen would have contacted us 3 years ago. It's like, hey, there are some typos. Maybe you want to fix them. But now they just silently shadow banned us, and thank you. But no, all is good. I mean, I was, after fixing all this stuff, I still disagree with him. Only half of this stuff is valid, but I changed most things anyway. So what this means for T2, there are many packages, and that is also the reason we were shadow banned blacklisted there, like IOZone, so, or others. So our T2 version was always like upstream, right? Because I don't care and I want my life simple. So our version until recently was 3_508. And yes, this also, like, this package had a typo. This recently was 77 or so. We had here a typo that this was 3.507 and we had here 3.577. So, yeah. Due to such stupid typos, that was actually a human error. Anyway, for us it is highly inconvenient. So basically, just to satisfy Repology main developer and have the public listing here is by percentage up to date, Guinness World Record worthy 95-ish%. Last night we were over, of course, everyday updates. And you see this here on the graph. I need to check precisely. Maybe this was actually the lift of the shadow banning. I need to check. This huge spikes here are, by the way, KDE and GNOME, right? When KDE they have their 3 divisions of packages, KDE frameworks, KDE Gears, and KDE Plasma, and they release this in different intervals. So yeah, this, by the way, I'm pretty sure this was the lift of the shadow ban, only like 250 more up-to-date packages or whatever. What are 250 packages between friends? This data here is still pretty off. So we are more up to date than this. I reported here many other, the double standard is we were shadow banned, but there were other distributions like Fedora Rawhide, which had hundreds of invalid versions, right? Like we had maybe 2 dozens, of which half or so were actually just our way of encoding upstream data. Like this, like we had multiple, like even Bash, there's Bash had, yeah, right. So Bash had, or has Bash and GetTop. It's so silly, right? 20-25 people cannot version. Why those developers upstream need to use another version? So for me, this was 5.3-003, right? But Repology, the Repology developer, disagrees with this. I mean, it is silly, right? He basically forces. I'm really not happy with this, right? But you got to do what you got to do, right? He banned me already. Like he banned me on GitHub of like, finally shut up and stop pinging me. It's like, sorry. I mean, I spent 40 hours adjusting, like fixing a dozen of typos and adjusting the rest for you. But then he didn't delete us from the blacklist. Anyway, so I was pinging, hey, ping what's left. Like it's, in my opinion, the most normal thing. Like a week later, ping any update. What more should we do to get allow listed? Anyway, finally he did it. Anyway, of course, at the end of the day, not that many people care about the Repology listing. Probably 99% of you did not even know that this website existed. So I'm happy to shout out this amazing version tracking website, only relevant for open source developers, of course. We previously already weeks ago have been the most up-to-date Linux distribution because Ravenports is not a Linux distribution. And so is not this Izzy on Android. Anyway, but since last night, we also overtook Ravenports, of which I and probably you have never heard about this. And don't delay, just use T2 Linux already today. For us, it means, of course, for not only for us, for you that means your favorite rolling release source distribution is more up to date than since 2002 or so. 20 years ago, I said this before, 20 years ago, we were already one of the most up-to-date, but then came KDE4 and GNOME and most developers left and I used macOS for 10 years. So for the last 15 years, many of our things were neglected. That also means, as annoying as it is, so the data here is still near. So we are basically 98% or so up-to-date because here are still hundreds of near things. For example, many versions I have hard to find. Here there are also like really crafty versions of like nah. So I need to put even more time. The truth is this is not a primary package for us. This is basically abandonware of not used because we use Vodems of right optical disk media packages things, right? Or like also the CF classified, some of the things are the latest version and they just don't count it because bugs. I mean, they are of course perfect and know everything better, but bugs or intentional shadow banning, blacklisting, I don't know. Some things like these things, we are also the most up to date just because we correctly publish that we use a 0180 git commit, because otherwise the package wouldn't work for us, right? That's why I hope video and audio is okay. If anyone. What? Back 3 years before, I thought you learned all this by your own. You did, but after 3 years now, I know it's embedded software development. Not really sure what you mean by this. Please clarify. So many packages like this, of which we probably have 50 approximately. So yeah, he just doesn't have a better solution that is a little bit now. So basically here are, I mean, some things are valid. Oh, there's also a new version. Let's update that. We will, in the future, of course, further automate this. We have a AI bot. Oh, there's also flight gears that is also new. That's like, yeah, updating the biggest things. But this is also live. how easy it is. By the way, our update fetches this from Repology. So we have a data AI scraping all the internet, and we have T2 integrated. T2 update thing or get that data from Repology if it is there. So we have various things making T2 one of the most developer-friendly distributions. I similarly wonder if there is a flight gear update then. Should there not be a matching, but maybe not, or soon. Anyway, there are low-hanging fruits. I mean, other stuff I spent significant time updating abandonware. I didn't even do Glide 3, like also this is a Flash Media Player. Here also some garbage versions, as you see, right? So I also deleted some things, but and also like some listings here are wrong because like I told him, but this developer knows everything better, right? Just like myself. So we agree to disagree. In my opinion, it sucks that he tracks it like this. So basically our grub is up to date, but he displays it because we packaged grub 2 and grub legacy for people who desperately want to run grub legacy for some reasons on 32-bit x86 for better compatibility. And like he displays this is outdated, although we have basically the last version of both of them. And there are a couple, right? You could argue, grub, nah, but here's also GTK-MM. So basically I told him, but he doesn't want to listen, and he knows everything better, and he is the best and perfect and stuff, right? We have GTK like other distributions. Why do we have 3 versions? Because GTK-MM4, GTK-MM3, and GTK-MM1 for backward compatibility with not the latest and greatest applications. And although we have the latest versions of everything, what is, by the way, this displays here is whatever. Is this, I'm not even sure if, should there not be a tooltip? Hello, tooltip. Anyway, the same happens for Linux and LVM Clang. So also we have more than 6,000 packages, right? And so it is funny that he blacklisted us, the main developer. Although here are, I also reported probably 50 invalid versions here already. So he blacklists us for invalid versions, but there are still dozens of invalid versions, and many of which he doesn't want to fix. Like here's a web report thing, and many of my web reports here, it's like, nah, YOLO, I'm not going to fix this. So, yeah. How was even our stream, by the way? Audio quality, anyone here? Don't do live YouTube things currently that often. Need to check here. Bitrate things. How many people? Some people here. Yeah, so for example, this also tracks wrong. I told him, he says it's perfect like that. Yeah, because he's merging here Linux and Linux header. And so we have the latest Linux package, at least as of last night. Oh, that's not even a Repology, right? So T2 update wouldn't, no it is. T2 working with source first, developer first, T2 package manager thing here, as easy as that, right? This doesn't even, no, it does show. Anyway, but even if that would not be 16.8, just since a minute ago, he merges Linux header, and although I told him here in the web report, look, Linux and Linux header, different things, please track them separately, it's like, his point is, no, we can track it as one package. Like how? Like showing Linux outdated? It's like, because my argument would be these are 2 packages which are entirely different things. One is the Linux kernel and one are the Linux ABI user space ABI headers. Because the problem is now this place is confusingly as outdated. Similar things arise with perf. He doesn't want to track perf, which is the Linux performance tools, and even LVM Clang. Although maybe we have the latest version here, but he tracks all, and this, so look at this, right? This LVM Clang has like 9 or nearly a dozen sub packages, like maybe a dozen in the meantime, and he displays here everything at once, right? And I commented, nah, dude, that sucks. And he is high, nah, that's perfect. It's like, I don't understand how this is perfect, especially with some things here potentially sometimes outdated. For example, even like Vasilipsy. Why? You could argue about, okay, usually they are the same version, except when they aren't, right? We have here maybe sometimes stuff doesn't build and we stay with an older version, and then they would display all of LVM claim false outdated, which sucks. Right? Similar, VasiLibC sometimes breaks, and so sometimes we are on an older VasiLib CXX. But anyway, yeah, basically it makes no sense for me to argue with this. I'm already happy that with all my pinging and all my reporting, he didn't delete us further. And for us, despite all the negative discussions here, respectfully disagreeing, it's still thank you for this website, because for us it is a huge treasure trove, although we have 25 years of package legacy since 1997-ish or so. And our data does not yet find everything. So it is also, instead of having our data scrape all the 6,000 websites from kernel org to KDE, having one centralized packaging hub where we can just efficiently do the latest data here, right? That is, of course, efficient, especially for all the vintage and retro stuff. And then finding, for example, some versions, if I would not have this central external website, I would have it much harder to look for forks of abandonware, right? So huge improvement, especially for desktop things and other vintage and retro gear. If you use T2 Linux, basically we have been at Frostcon recently, right? Many people were, I was surprised how positive they were, and most people were. And here, we did a poster, the first poster in 15 years. We carried their G5 and a RISC-V Threadripper. Had met amazing people. Of course, 90+% never heard of T2 because I didn't do marketing in 15 years. And that means we have more and more amazing stuff running, right? And now with T2 being the most up-to-date package manager and Linux distribution, and we have the latest Firefox running on MIP64. Is it particularly fast? Unfortunately not. But if you had a faster MIP64 system, it were actually usable. Similar to Firefox, that was before we fixed it more. So we spent, if you are new to our stuff, we are one of the last Linux distributions, together with Debian or so. But even Debian gave up on some things, DEC Alpha or Itanium, I heard. And for all the other things, we have all of these major things running on Big Endian PowerPC. We have this stuff running on Little Endian PowerPC 64. We fixed DEC Alpha things, right? We even made, if you didn't share, subscribe yet, or look someone to Patreon here, we even worked on Alpha. We made Alpha netboot again, although there are still some bugs to fix. Why am I making this video? And I'm not even presenting our things here in the most commercial, shameless, self-promoting way, because I work so much here, I didn't even have time to make proper YouTube videos. Thus, this 2 months later, Friday after work town hall assembly here. Because I have still things to fix, right? We improved MIP64 SGI origin init RD loading. We improved DEC Alpha, AXP digital 64-bit network booting to network boot again, but even that is still partially broken. So it loads the kernel, which it didn't do for me in 20 years. We did this just last week or this week or so. So there are still bugs. So maybe there's some memory corruption, because like it works in principle, it network boots now, the kernel comes up, but then keyboard doesn't work, and I don't know. A little bit strange. Like if I boot the same kernel, it works. If I load it over network, it doesn't work. So probably some kind of memory corruption or whatever. That is to be debugged another day, as you can imagine, relatively time consuming. Otherwise, we have stuff working. Also like updates here you see. And that is how much did we work? I worked full time since June on making T2 the most up-to-date and everything working Linux distribution. And of course I have it here for you to see. Of course, you can click your icons. This is just an example, right? XFCE. We are in the meantime so far, after 7 years here live on YouTube and now on Twitch, we had GNOME 49 packaged on their launch day. KDE, Plasma, Frameworks, Gears, of course we have it, right? I don't have everything in the menu here. As you see, T2 only the last Linux distribution that boots on everything. DEC Alpha, SGI MIPS, Itanium. Also shout out to Debian and SUSE developer who donated us a new Itanium. That is amazing. Now I have 3. More Itanium testing. A little bit selfish. It's like, here you can run GCC test suite more, right? Of course we will. So shout out there. Also another local Berlin company donated a stack of Mac Minis and an iMac. That is also amazing here for testing, right? And immediately made booting better. This is the kind of stuff that we work on here, right? My GitHub is exploding. As you can imagine from a full-time Linux developer, I'm now at, and that is only me alone, 4,600. So this is just my profile, and this is under, I commit so much, this is somehow under reporting. As you see here, since June, I took this a little bit seriously, making T2 great and the most up-to-date again. I'm here at times 100 freaking commits a day of updates. So this is not that easy because like going through the list and painfully finding forks and websites and archive.org, right? And checking other Linux distributions of what cursed patches they have found somewhere. And so this is vastly underreporting. I think I'm probably over 5,000 commits. I don't know why this is underreporting. The usual serverless cloud orchestration stuff somehow not working correctly. And that is only me, right? On top comes our data AI. On top come our other 10 regular code developers. And that also means constantly fixing things, right? If you're wondering what is so much like, this is just packaging, right? Like easy, T2 create from GitHub. In the meantime, we have helpers, right? T2 can auto create packages, new packages from metadata extraction from GitHub, from GitLab. But like, why is this a full-time job? It's like, yeah, we constantly not only doing that is some work, but also we constantly have to fix things, right? Just today, I fixed here local search to build without additional debug more Python modules by disabling testing. You could ask, why do we just disable testing? Sure, another day we might package yet another 200s, 300s Python package. But the reality is I don't want to build testing because we build 6,000 packages and we build this fast. So we don't need to run tests for everything. Basically, what we should do instead is have infrastructure. If testing wanted, then testing. Otherwise, save build time because we have 40 ISO variants from DEC Alpha to X32 to build and maintain. Other things like constantly broken every quarter, I have to quirk somehow blip kexif to build with latest exif 2. For upstream packaging difficult, always some stuff breaking. Reasons or just typos are, did I even? No, this is, yeah. Basically constantly fixing something, right? New like complex stuff, right? Rust released 190 the other day. T2 has it already, right? I mean, obviously, right, as the most up-to-date packaging manager thing that theoretically also supports macOS Homebrew and other things. Of course, we finally fixed, if you tried T2 recently, we are here in hyperventilating release mode. We have the last things to fix. Basically, I had already the upcoming greatest ever 25.9 release build 3 times. I wanted to release last month, but each time we did more things. We also fixed the long-standing boot bug that happened on many real silicon, which we didn't find in testing. We just fixed this week. That is good that we delayed the release a little bit. And also found we constantly find cursed things. The way the boot works is this grub on EFI. That we have to modify, or like if we want to do it nice, we have to modify the prefix for auto-detecting ISO versus dump to USB stick. We use here some regular expression module. Other distributors do that differently. But then we found like we did this, that took 2 hours, like just improving that stuff took 2 hours because debugging boot stuff, yeah, that's even with QEMU, which is like also mostly only occurring on real hardware. Can't use QEMU mostly for that. But then the craziest bug is if you preload that, like grub make image, and you put this into the grub image and preload that it's available, then it breaks on ARM 64. Like It's like, this is how do I waste my day doing open source things? It's like you improve things for x86 and then they break for ARM64. Anyway, it's like, yeah, 1 hour there, 1 hour there. At the end of the day, 8 hours a business day are away, right? And welcome everyone. Do we have bounties? Yes, we have bounties, of course, by working for free and not earning much money. Of course, we have bounties, but not for security bullshit. We want to create good stuff. Of course, basically security, like I don't pay you for bugs in OpenSSL, right? Go ask OpenSSL. But you probably must have missed my video 2 years ago. We have bounties for 2 years already. If you mean, I mean, we're not yet Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Apple or stuff. But if you would have opened this, you would seen that feature and bug bounties. So we only pay a little bit. Like, hey, I'm working on it. Not millionaire yet. Working on that. Share, like, subscribe, Patreon, all the good stuff. We give even donations away. We gave already some bounties away. So yeah, they are reasonably priced, right? But the more you share, like, subscribe, the more you get business to pay us, donate and stuff, the more we can give back. And I guess with our bounties, we already give more back than most other Linux distributions, right? Although we are one of the smallest, we probably give back the biggest. Bounties are here. That's mostly feature things, many small things also. Why do we have small things? Because I want to motivate new people, new teenagers, students and stuff to work on open source and make our system better. That is also why, I mean, obviously I don't have spare pocket money to pay for OpenSSL bugs, but we pay a little bit to make T2 better, right? That is the only reasonable thing for us to do. Do you usually upstream, carry a bunch of patches? Like, yes, we of course carry patches like most distributions. I work 80 hours. It's always a funny question. Of course we upstream, but upstream is always painful and takes 10 times longer than just fixing it. Also, like, for some things I don't even have a fix, and for some things I become upstream, right? There's basically nobody to maintain a boot. If we fix network booting a boots, then I probably should actually on my GitHub probably fork a boot, and similar to ArcLoad, the last developer to work on ArcLoad for MIPS is probably me. So there is no upstream, right? I upstream also. I help testing. We become so popular that even the Debian people ask us now if we can sometimes patch some things. So we become increasingly well connected in the, I mean, I have been 25 years, but the truth is I work here mostly for free, and it's like, do you upstream and do you bounty, but not one super thing yet, right? But that is the reality of open source things. Upstream, for example, is the DDR5 SPD hub that we programmed here some years ago for reading the DDR5 memory module temperature and EEPROM. That is upstream. You're welcome. If you share, like, subscribe more, I upstream more. At the end of the day, I run my Linux at a net loss, so any donation anyway welcome, so I can actually afford sitting here and arguing with Linus Torvalds about patch quality. We have also the reality is we have many cool things that nobody cares about. So if nobody cares of unbreaking vintage and retro, like, why should I waste my time? The risk is always, if I upstream vintage and retro, people are reminded about vintage and retro and only delete it, right? Like, also we have recently fixed even floppy support, which I told you here for years. Like, increasingly we fix all the things on my to-do. So floppy disks work now again the first time ever, probably by default in 20 years on Ultra Spark 64. You're welcome, and probably IBM P series, although I didn't test it. Does T2 install? I fixed this yesterday, Alex. It didn't work. I thought thank you for asking. That is the stuff I patched that today or yesterday. I forgot. I patched so much, I forgot when the last 24 hours I patched that to work again. And welcome. Are you a full-time streamer and develop T2? Do you have a daily job? I run my company for 19 years. And thanks to my company, I'm not bankrupt yet, because if I would only do open source, I would live under a bridge. and ask for tip jar donations. So shout out to my amazing company who somehow manages to keep all this alive without con-manning people like Orange Clone wannabe presidents. Yeah, so however, that cannot go forever, right? So to the last years, I stressed my tiny company budget here. So basically I cross-finance T2 development with all our development enablement and Mac products. And if you want that I upstream more and work on that even more, then it would be so amazing if you super thank here or on Twitch or on Patreon or on Go Buy Me Coffee, because at the end of the day, working 80 hours for 25 years is pretty exhausting, you all. So here is a nice support page where you find support and where you can support us via Patreon, direct PayPal, Go Buy Me Coffee, or GitHub sponsors. And yes, we need to work on the website. The funny thing is, I put in 55,000 hours in this Linux distribution, which some venture capitalists already value at over 10 million. But the number one question, do we upstream? The number two question, do you pay bounties? And what was the third question? Can you do more for free? So anyway, all right. The third question is, but your mailing list currently doesn't work and your website sucks. Yes, I'm aware. That is also where all the donations go, infrastructure, because we moved things. We had to scale up, right? It didn't scale. We constantly need to upgrade because 40 ISOs, more load. We moved things from 20-year-old aging infrastructure to new things and didn't set up the mailing list again. However, we vastly worked on the website and stereo microphones. Yes, some people hate it, some people love it, but welcome to stereo podcasting here live on this channel. Otherwise, I'm also full-time streaming, right? Usually, additionally, also on Twitch, as you asked already. That would be there if you wanna follow and subscribe there. So the things that we constantly fix, also like we could commit this, right? So that's, I committed that already. I would hope the flight gear data works, no changes detected. What did I update there? Oh, this was there. Maybe this was also the wrong thing there then. It's probably fine. Let's do that live. That system is off. I need to quickly, if I would not fat finger here my things, my history. Why should this not work like that? And what did I? And yes, I should not intentionally not see my infrastructure things here. Are we even live? Which IP address do we have and why does this not connect? This doesn't because like due. What did I? Okay, this is the wrong system. This is why this didn't work. Maybe I should even let's push that to Git while we work on things. And we had here other updates. So flight gear data, that's probably fine untested. That's probably what else did we just do live here on Firefox? Okay, let's better pre-test this. So usually I would test it fully, but we are live, right? What key switches are those? That are Gatoron, Hall effect, magnetic, white, I believe, in a field 75, the most cyberpunk and best keyboard I ever had. You find this information here on my Instagram from last year's Black Friday sale. Maybe they have this year Black Friday sale too. So usually we post here the stuff, right? Keeping the SGI gear alive, Deck Alpha. As you see, we made some progress, right? LibreOffice everywhere, MIPS, Spark, PowerPC. One day you're happy that you have a frame buffer and an X server. The next day you run Firefox. And you know how it is, right? Or other cool things we do, like PS3, right? Not sure what problem people have. Works amazingly with T2 Linux in this day and age, and the keyboard should come somewhere here. Cannot be that much further for all this, right? Running T2 and everything, including this SRock BC250 mining rig thing. Patch improvements for that, of course, in T2 Linux. And welcome, Matic. I get the same error here. Type var. It's not finding operand type variable. I thought this. I had fixed this Intel thing and that built for me. Font is Comic Code. I just read now a little bit later. Okay, that's probably fine. It's probably maybe pointless to commit this. Often these minor things are Windows and Mac OS, but why not, right? Otherwise we don't look up to date, and we obviously want to remain. So of course we have data. Data would do some things. Next, of course, our time is not best spent updating things. So of course this will be now even more automated. It was mostly 3 months of cursed abandonware and other things that had their web and probably will not be updated in a while to come, because cursed abandonware that nobody's really working on. It looks like this. Oops, as I already, like, people want desktop Linux, right? Made, designed in Germany, made mostly in Europe, sovereign, digital, desktop Linux, right? And next we will make, as you see, we have come a long way, right? Like if you are an early subscriber and follow me, like if you're one of the first 1,000 subscribers, that took me probably 4 years to get or so, you probably remember how bare bones T2 Linux was, because I just need a terminal, right? Give me a frame buffer terminal thing, give me an Xorg server, give me an X terminal, Firefox, bro, the thingy, and I'm productive, right? Fast forward 5 years later, we have latest KDE. Actually, we can Patreon post, right? Patreon here, probably there. Latest post should be here. Of course, now I share sometimes the things, and it is amazing that we have some Patreons, of which we obviously need more. And it is just, it only is the latest of 98%. Yes, a little bit more than there because it is underreported, right? And the remaining 2% we either will find or we will delete. And yes, the latest T2 Linux last week on Sony Vario P32-bit Intel Atom said serious things, right? I don't know why people hate vintage and retro. Look how amazing this tiny little cute little like T2 netbook thing is, with just the latest of everything. Firefox, you name it, right? The latest, we had latest kernel, latest Mesa, latest LVM Clang, of course 21.1 released last week or so, Rust from yesterday or so, AMD ROCm, AMD Compute Stack that only on T2 Linux also works on RISC-V. We basically ported that and compiled that for RISC-V in spring. GNOME 49, KDE Plasma and Frameworks and Gears, and now with Posh, the phone mobile shell thing. And what is next? Even tighter integration with modern graphical desktop, because people ask desktop and gaming. Yes, of course. And it is so crazy. I said this before, right? This is now we are getting into polishing the last remaining bits and pieces. Unfortunately, this might mean we might switch to systemd by default, as much as I personally hate it, but hey, T2 is T2, so we have options. glibc, musl, uslibc, KDE, GNOME, XFCE, Trinity Desktop, Cosmic Desktop, we have it all. Xorg, Wayland, we got you covered. And that means just for all the modern login things and suspend, it's like KDE integration and stuff, right? The truth is, as much as I hate it, KDE and GNOME do not work fully, right? So I said this on Frostcon, I said this on Twitch. now that the base works and is amazing and it's up to date, we are only the most up to date Linux. Let's configure the components so only the next 9 months that all this stuff works, right? So that is, as you can imagine, latest T2, right? Running a virtual on the Ryzen with VNC. So non-VNC, it would run even snappier, right? And of course we have here all the things, right? Some stuff could here crash because this is my development VM thing of compiling everything, but why do you use the shabby VI editor? Yes, here is Kate for you, right? Then here, here's this papers thing, right? How's it spelled? Did we not build this the other day? The other GNOME stuff. Did Nautilus? Nautilus did. I didn't even test Nautilus yet, but there's Nautilus. Yeah, fixed some stuff today. So, and we ship, as I said, I made popular videos last year, right? 25 years making my Dream OS and previous videos, right? We already ship for over a year everything you need out of the box for your home gaming or development or business desktop. LibreOffice, Firefox, Thunderbird, OpenJDK, of course the latest. Wine for Windows emulation, QEMU, basically everything and more that you can do on macOS or Windows ships out of the box. Basically more than macOS, because do you have a full-featured LibreOffice thing on macOS? No. So basically more full-featured. And yes, if we want to penetrate the desktop Linux market and gain their market share, then we, of course, I'm aware, next we need to make it as easy. One-click, installable, graphically booting, one-click tray, Wi-Fi configurator. This is most likely defaulting to KDE then. But does all the other stuff here work? Yes, of course. That is, of course, relatively empty because this is my test VM. Does all the stuff work? Yes. Except, oops, when something went wrong for whatever desktop sandboxing, whatnot reasons. Isn't that a beauty? The year of Linux desktop only needs a little bit more help here. If that ain't amazing, I don't know what is. The Windows compatibility, so as we ship Wine by default, you can straight off games. There we even ship, I recently, by pure accident, oh wait, why does this, was this not previously? That's not the best demonstration. Why does this not work? I had fixed that recently. Is this an old build before I fixed that? That is bizarre. We only ship everything except when it doesn't work. Did they re-break that? I had this fixed. So there was a cross-build regression. Why can't KDE make a good UI already? There are two, I mean, that's, yeah, KDE looks more Windows, GNOME looks more macOS, right? Kinda, sorta, I would, quick summary. I'm not super terribly impressed with either of them, due to just sheer code base and complexity and ever breaking ABI things and using C and C++, and GNOME using not only C but Valar and JavaScript and what was the other Blueprint compiler things. I mean, hey, you could theme this, right? Like, yeah, that's a crazy thing. Previous video, right? This works like a dock on SGI or other vintage gear and doesn't look much different. That's my point, right? It barely looks that different than on KDE 3 20 years ago, but is 100 times lower, right? So yeah. Anyway, what else do we NeoFetch? I slightly wonder that should be. I mean, good that I tested that. I basically need to put that on my to-do list. Yeah, we have here GNOME tour things, right? So DRI. So yeah, this is not. It's like all the fancy, right? It's like just some fancy graphics, and it looks already amazing. Maybe we should patch that for some T2 improvements. Yeah, what more do you want, right? 6,000 packages. Sure, always more packages, but basically Q&A, ask me anything, right? What more do you want except graphic integration, like booting? Okay, what do you want? Booting to graphic, more graphical integration, that KDE GNOME Wi-Fi chooser network manager works, which we don't ship by default. Yes, I hear you. But now it is polishing the Steve Jobs, like now it's between Windows 2000 and macOS usability things of just some, maybe not the best example, but the patch things, fixes, translator, but breaks SPIRF tools. Oh, holy shit. Okay, thank you for testing and letting me know. Now it works, not sure why. There was yeah, the crazy thing is we ship, and that is what I mean, right? It does more than freaking macOS, because like it ships with Windows compatibility out of the box and the VM and freaking Wine-based. So this is just demonstrating for you of like we ship this stuff and it usually works, except live here on this demo, right? Yes, it looks as shit as Windows, but that's not the point. The point is that you can game, right? Like Wine, your favorite AAA game. Needs quick shell. What's quick shell? Yeah, but don't delay. Download and try it today, although I have to say there is a huge release coming. The last release was of course good, but although I have to say maybe delay and install it next week when 25.9 is out. The reason I make the video is obviously I need to make more YouTube videos with proper devices, proper reviews. And but I wanted to point this out. I basically procrastinated, but also it's basically not procrastinating. I just don't have more time, right? Working on all the stuff each day live on Twitch. So you basically also probably want to follow for free on Twitch, not to miss any development. Just a shout out of like, dude, we were busy. We updated nearly everything, and now nearly everything works, except Wine and this one demo. Of course, also Java, did we Ghidra? So I could even like, so that is so amazing, right? You can go here, Ghidra. We have a package, but I guess our package might not potentially maybe not fully build, also I don't want to build it now. You don't use mine. Like mine is just like, you don't use it. You only use T2. The package manager is T2. Mine is just like tar, a binary tar. We will get rid of mine. Like don't even look into that. The package manager is T2. So you want to like, if you want to install something, you go here and T2 install 0AD or so, right? And like, dude, did we make this so much better? I mean, the thing is like we updated so much, there could be some breakage, which similar to Arch or Gentoo, right? It should of course not, but hey, I only work 40 hours on this stuff each week. Each week. And so yeah, shall I subscribe, right? Patreon. We had 0ID, we packaged this. I mean, yeah, this shouldn't break, but nah. The more you update, the more breaks, of course. That's a little bit unfortunate. And then some random shit like GST plugins bad, like hey, it's so bad it's already in the name. Whatever here, lip thinks of, yeah, that's not ideal live on YouTube, but we will fix this later tonight or so. So only use this. For example, what other, like if you want Neo, what is it called, NeoVim? If you want NeoVim that works like this. And also, did you sign the kernel? I want to use secure boot. No. We will not get a key from Microsoft. And if you want, like, if you desperately want, like, would you want to import our key? I mean, we could sign it with our key if you desperately wanted that. Okay, I hear you. Secure boot. So what? So Q&A. Open tone hole. What? All right. So yeah, shall I subscribe Patreon? I'm really begging for donations here because there is so much things we could make better if we just had. Imagine I do this without funding, or like. Imagine if we would have more than a little funding. If one guy with his 10 people core team and his shabby shell scripted AI can make the most up-to-date old CPU architecture supporting architecture, like And yes, I started to speak with investors in case you. Also, maybe we make another open tonal thing. Like basically, we need to talk more, and I obviously need more YouTube AdSense revenue here. Totally, yeah, I'm not a good YouTuber of not live streaming for 3 months or so here. I need input. We need to talk how to financially viable a open source product like this. Like, should we? I mean, obviously nobody's buying books here. Like maybe stickers. What should we shall do? What not? I mean, sure, for businesses. If we want to sell this to businesses, we need to make it better than Microsoft Windows. That's of course not that hard, except boot to graphical one-click installer and Wi-Fi chooser, and suspend and some minor things for which we maybe switch to systemd by default. NVIDIA. I have an idea. There's a trash can. You open the lid, you put NVIDIA card, you close lid, problem solved. But yeah, okay, so you know. Okay, so see, I would totally buy stickers and t-shirts. We theoretically have, right? Like straight off of YouTube, we sold like 10 in the last year. So also from t-shirts, we don't get much, right? We only get €6 or dollars proceeds here, right? So theoretically, there is store. And that's like, yeah, maybe, yeah, Alex someone wanted a new, so yes, these are the 3-year-old or 4-year-old designs. Can buy things here, theoretically, not the most people do, like here. Maybe drop me, like, obviously this stuff, like here, even for kids, right? Don't with my Linux father. Like, yes, I've inspired on other people's things. Peak bugs, hacker, T2 things, hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, you name it. This stuff is so expensive because it is. We only get $4, $5, $6 proceeds of the stuff as it is in the commercial world here, right? Yeah, whichever is your favorite, let me know. Of course, shipping from the YouTube integrated things that we have no further additional particular. This doesn't post because this is not post. That is, yeah. Anyway, secure boot. So yeah, we need to better, like we need to sell this more successfully than SUSE and Red Hat, because obviously and yeah, I hope the quality is good. Like we will make some more. Alex wanted some small T2 logo here. So we probably need to make at least one or more design ideas welcome, right? Like drop me a note, Discord and things. We don't have proper stickers yet. So, by the way, you were convinced me to try and... By the way, your work has convinced to not try and remove deck alpha support for pro contributor. I mean, yeah, this deletion, I just leave it. You don't need to test build it, just leave it in and leave it for the next. But thank you. What else did I miss? What is quick shell? Did I post that? I posted that. So quick shell. Toolkit building status bars, widgets. Is that thing you want or what? Toolkit building status bar widgets. Is that like Wayland compositor? Okay, that looks amazing. Maybe we package live on Twitch. Maybe we don't have it yet. We can check here in. Oops. Did I, by the way? Sorry. Neo. Yeah. So Wireshark should. So yeah, if you want to reverse stuff, right? Capture network USB. Disconnected things of what did you quick? What else did I want to show? Basically just everything. Did I build Okular? Yeah, build Okular couldn't component. That's not ideal. I had this once fixed. Maybe it broke again. That's of course not ideal. That is this, yeah, you fix it one quarter, it's broken the next quarter. Quick shell. No. However, if we're not running Wayland, we could theoretically probably fix that. Sway should come up, right? Okay, this should come up, except, okay, this doesn't, that's now not ideal. So this is just upstream open source breakage of hardware accelerated things. I'm also sad that it's not better. Also, we could do this differently. Usually I use Spice, but I mean, it's crazy that we need to fix all the crazy shit, right? Even Spice QLX is at times somewhat broken, which of course is super ridiculous that it constantly is. There is VNC things of. Let's run it with Spice. It may or may not work. Which is hilarious, right? In my opinion, this is the primary things that should work. This works better for some reason. Yeah, it's differently broken with VNC. Like 2000. That's right. Don't start a new Linux distribution. Be smart. Don't waste 50,000 hours. Don't waste 25 years of your life. Just use T2 Linux already. It simply does everything. And if more people send some patches or bug reports and suggestions, whatnot, if people work more together, we would have much more amazing things, right? Like we have 2,500 distributions, but VNC is broken here, software splitting is broken there, GPU pass-through is broken there, because everything is broken upstream and all the distributions, nobody's sending shit upstream. And also like Red Hat inventing or purchasing QXL protocol company things and then done, and then it's like, yeah, totally amazing. We don't have stickers yet. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about distro like NixOS. NixOS doesn't fit my brain. I don't like it. Wie kann ich spenden? Here all the support memes, however you want. Patreon, PayPal Direct, GitHub sponsors, or go buy me coffee, or other ways if you have, or here super thank here, or on Twitch. The possibilities are endless. Just joined. Have you considered YouTube memberships? There are memberships. I think you can membership if you ask whether we have. Yes, we have. Do you have MS Teams package? Unfortunately, many organizations are using it. No. But we recently packaged this. Yesterday we packaged the Steam client. Is it even packageable? I don't know. Like, do people not use it in the browser? Don't worry, even Debian has broken packages, trick things in one person. It's normally to be like that. Yeah, but increasingly all this stuff will work, right? We have amazing people like Kuluk, Alex, Matic, Foxtrot, Notech, and all the other people who regularly send me Sante Fin, right? And won't see join button if on mobile. Wow, the future is now. Yeah, increasingly stuff will just work. This should forward. Why does this not forward? Or is this is this just not rendering? Is this the native mouse, or this is no, this is rendering. Why does this not come up with why is there always something? House exit? Says need to be careful not to extend my somehow there's always something. However, let's test the heck out of it. Do I have the latest Hyperland? I'm not sure if that will work better, but anyway, we can also add we could theoretically add this other thing here. Quick shell. Just to show, because I have a dedicated video how to package things in T2. It's super easy. As our website clearly states, the ultra portable low code. You need the fuse code of all the other most things are automatic. If you need to hook in, you add two hooks. Patches, you just drop in. You can conditional name. No need to list all the patches in a file and stuff, right? Oh, and other things. So benefits of making T2 the most up-to-date Linux distribution are, I added 85, I kid you not, A-spell dictionaries, right? For all our international Portuguese, Brazil, like we had 5, like when I came, like literally the other 5, we had 5 or 6 or actually maybe 6 or 7, like all dictionaries I packaged 25 freaking years ago, when I did desktop Rock Linux and I came to Rock Linux. They even, thankfully, I looked at 25 years later, I looked at the package descriptions. They had even funny comments of like, they even literally had still spelled D-Rock in there, D-Rock for desktop. It's like, so yeah, was it a waste of time of marketing hype, the most up-to-date Linux distribution? No. 85 A-spell dictionaries, Welsh, Czech. I had added Ukrainian recently for supporting reasons. All the other Dutch probably I packaged 25 years ago. I packaged the most important for me, which English, French, German, Spanish, Italian or so, and Ukraine, of course. Now we have 85 of all I could find, and that is of course increasing our up-to-date percentage. If you're wondering why did I do this, because I saw them there. It's like, 85 easy to add packages and be already 2% more up to date or something like that. So yeah, it had a huge benefit, 42, right? Vintage, abundant, like vintage packages, forked packages, dictionaries, you name it. Then Snap and Flatpak, why I need Tim to package it? Yeah, it's like, yeah. So going forward, T2 runs on everything I have, I think. If not, we patch it soon, fix it soon. It's the most up to date. It has all of KDE and GNOME, except maybe some cursed GNOME package. Anything missing, drop us a note. Next, we need to come for the desktop and server. And yes, that will be painful to write. Why did I do this? Because I'm a low-level guy. I hate messing with this convolutedly cursed C and C++ code and systemd and stuff. It's like, just give me terminal, right? But of course, if we are honest with ourselves, we only reach higher market penetration, market share with just working one-click UI things. Could try Twitch, would never tell you who like. Yeah, I wanted to dual stream somehow. My server, data server, redirecting, multiplexing, dual stream didn't work with Twitch anymore. They probably changed API things. Good. So that thing, quick shell, that's probably on Git, right? Where is there Git things? I didn't really want documentation. I wanted, what's Control K doing for? Whatever, where is Git? Okay, quick shell Git, because then we have auto import. Quick shell mirror, don't want mirror. Mirror not ideal. What do they mean with mirror? Outfoxed. Aha, that is flexible things from Outfox. Okay, let's anyway use that. And here we have hyperlink. Let's see, how does it work? So that is software rendered. That's of course again not ideal. That's a little bit laggy because but that's the thing. Like, yeah, this stuff not even working amazingly in. I also have a feeling now. Yeah. Why are you not a fan of Wayland? Like, yeah. It is what it is. Virtualization. This makes me so sad, right? Like, how, I mean, I sit here alone and do this as a hobby after work, but why all this stuff is not amazing by Red Hat and SUSE, and then, or canonical Ubuntu, and then they only delete like the good old stuff once working, they delete. But yeah, anyway. Shall I subscribe? Theoretically, we want to also build a microkernel and stuff. I only wonder at that rate if I make desktop T2 desktop Linux great again, if I ever at that rate have time for my new language, microkernel, graphic subsystem. Anyway, for now we just reuse sources, recycle, reuse, rinse and repeat. Cheers. Create that thing here. Oh, also not that thing. because that copy and paste. So that is the wrong URL. I'm totally aware of this. I just used our metadata extraction stuff. There is download. Maybe we need to click on install, and do they say here Qt? So that's Qt. Git plus things has embedded flag which can be used either mirror thing of release versions. Under the release versions of QuickShell are available from Nix. It's like, oh, this is Nix. Somewhat early stage. Before one things you need one Qt comport. Okay. Some of these modern websites always near. Why do they not give me directly freaking download location? That is somehow outfoxed QuickShell. That is bizarre. Probably here. But what does this give us? Okay, this gives us something. Yeah, that is like the time-wasting stuff of you even need to figure out where to get a pre-slice. Do they have tags? Commits, branches. Ah, here tags. And let's hope it's not that old. 2 months ago. Of course, even this we will improve. We will not use it from there, but here. The question is what kind of... Nah, okay, let's not mess with that. I'm not in the mood of messing with that stuff today. Let's use a simple override. Cross maybe. Okay, QuickShell mirror, that's not ideal. Let's put there probably at least outfoxed unless they have a... And that is why this packaging doesn't come for free, right? It's a whole lot of work, even extracting metadata, clicking on random things. Where is freaking some... Do they have some name in here? Okay, let's just put the outfoxed. Although on commits could be what email do they use on... I mean, it's crazy that these days you need to spend that much time investigating who even is the author. Does this have some raw patch thing here somehow? Outfoxed, outfoxed. Okay, that's not particularly... Okay, someone wants to stay anonymous, I guess. It's kind of pointless to copy the whole email. Making desktop shells with things and... Oh, 4x and 11. Okay, wonderful. Good that I today test built most of KDE. So that is theoretically how easy packaging is. Oh god, what the heck is that? I also can't donate because Georgia might be the reason. I'm sure if you really wanted, you would find some way to PayPal, GitHub, or other such. CLI 11, what's that? We have that. So that is only first developer, right? We have done this 1,000 times. The first developer needs to figure out what's needed. T2 is automatically caching this in a cache file, cache dependencies by files utilized, headers, things. Modern stuff dependency hell. That is why I basically want to read. This is the crazy stuff, right? I have one of the most up-to-date, not one of the most. I have the most up-to-date, most CPU architecture supporting news distribution, and I'm disappointed with a lot of things. That is somehow crazy, right? Wayland scanner found, not a Git repository, anything that's fatal things, Git discovery. What is it trying to do there? Needs more work. So much for quickly building that. What was the name of this thing? Quick. Yeah, modern stuff always needs all the dependencies and preferably most of them on multiple times. It doesn't fully build, so started to package that. It is most of the metadata, I need some more dependencies, and build hex, so untested because untested to not work. Qt6 based 3D. Okay, let's package that too, just because I love you all so much and I'm still waiting for at least some donation here. Three things, molecule, git. Let's see, T2 find. Do we have that? No. Can be packages? Yes, of course. Website things, plugins, once molecule editor things. T2 create. What could possibly go wrong? Move contrib. This was this one, right? Avocado package scientific. We need to polish this a little bit. Advanced editor design, applying computational editor things. For that we have auto folding, GPL2, stable maybe version, not that. Do they have a proper tag of something? 111, wherever this other thing is coming from. Okay, can't also have left that there to recycle there. This works without that to keep it compact. 111. Paste tar gset. Install that. Oops, that too. Wait, did I copy and paste that? Avocado. Which one? You have Sev on. Do you have Sev on repos? It's a Qt based, nice thick. What's the model? We had published that earlier here. Model there. New 5 field 75 HE with Gatoron magnetic white. It is amazing. So you were saying this one. Free class. So you're saying I went to Avo, what is now wrong? That is 1, but that is also nice to have. So you want 2. Where's 2 then? Is that 2? I hate with this modern stuff you find not so right. Are you sure that is 1 too? Then in the future, alright, YouTube is blocking links, right? Open chemistry project things. So you were saying we need that. And look how low code T2 is, right? I can basically create here packages at the pipeline here. Is it called pipeline? Like this is how low code, right? Like basically you need no code unless you need stuff and then you low code hook in there. And like it wants Qt4. Okay, that's probably not ideal. Packaging abandonware just like that. I think I will modify this then of not packaging abandonware, to be honest. I just deleted some abandonware. It's probably pointless too. I mean, theoretically, okay, you said, I mean, we could have kept it there, right? 19 something. Does that need the other libraries, libs and apps? So we could even package this both, and T2 has so amazing mechanisms to build it both. Look at this beauty. That is 25 years of doing low code. Okay, we can also doing low-code things. This is source, all source that. Wait, this is what? This is GitHub. GitHub works like that. And then we also want to update that URL to that. GPL maybe version 191. Just I would be able to copy and paste. So I slightly copy and pasted that slightly wrong, but archive. I hope it works like this. Actually, maybe it should. Maybe I shouldn't have copied that, but just that to have that without typo. Yeah, but shall I subscribe? Because on top of this, the wider open source community expects me to upstream and to test, like Athenium and Decipher and stuff, right? Their website is outdated. Latest releases. Oh, okay, good. Then you're saying your website is outdated. Current things using Git. Oh, I hate when they wait. What? Warning potential random shit. Thank you very much. You said here, right? How is 110 2? They also have like this is okay. Does this load? Okay, that's the thing. How many URLs do they freaking need, TM? We could also, do they have a free editor and visualization tool? There, basically whatever. What do they have here? Stealing some text, sorry. T2 update. Look at this, so many amazing helper tools. This is why this is developer first, source first, developer friendly. And you say slightly different version. Where do they have get? 101. Okay, that is surely higher than 90. Yeah, and this is how we, with such a small team, kept this alive and increasingly amazing. We could split this into 2 packages, but until there is a real need for that, Avo, what did I even, Avoga, maybe typo, Avo, Gadro, okay, typo, yes. Yeah, that is how easy it is, except, yeah, eigen, we have that, inst eigen, do we have eigen 3, is that 3, that is hard to log for some reason. Yeah, that is how easy that is, just some dependency automatic building until all the dependencies are there, then cache reasons. I'm a little bit off topic here, but basically just showing the power of T2 Linux live on YouTube. FFTW, I guess I have this, so that we need to fix somehow. I think we will, so that's a long-standing annoyance. FFTW3, that's a long-standing annoyance. That also affects Blender. Some things need float, some things need double. That this is so stupidly designed. I'm also not a fan. also the wrong one. I think we changed the package, Kuluk or someone or I later. We simply will enable both and build it twice. I think it is what it is. Like you would think in 2025 stuff, but probably also no update in like 20 years or whatever. That's the usual well-maintained open source things. Was it Eigen? And that is how simple it is, right? I hope you enjoy this and like something. I think with the last but not least, I should say, with the 2500 Linux distributions that I criticize so much, at least I did not really create a new one. I contributed to Rock Linux. When I found it, I did the desktop things. I took over the stable release maintainment and then everything. Yeah, I need some more depths. I could basically, the reason I commit this is like, the metadata is there. It is mostly working, and commit early, commit often, right? Even though it's not perfect. That is how the T2 low code metadata works. Theoretically works on BSD and building on BSD and macOS 2, right? For Homebrew and other port-like systems if you want just the latest and greatest packages and fixes. I personally use it on macOS 2 to build QEMU and other such things. And yeah, basically if someone else wants to continue, free and things, tested and cache. I didn't have to delete that. We have, yeah, it's not complete, but the beginning, right? Basically, share, like, subscribe, patches, welcome. In general, right, if you want to try this out, show the last image. If it doesn't instantly boot, I mean, this works in most virtual things. But next week we should have a release with 100 bug fixes and 1,000 updates. I wanted to say, last but not least, I think T2 Linux brings a huge value to the open source community. It is the most developer-friendly low-code packaging format ever invented, and that is already for 20 years. It simply does everything, right? It supports all architectures that other need to abandon and leave behind. It supports alternatives because other distributions then only have glibc or Musel. There are Musel-specific distributions and static-specific distributions and so on. T2 simply does everything there as well. You can choose glibc for most compatibility, Musel for smaller things, uslibc for mostly MMU-less microcontroller things. All the desktop packages, the latest stuff, not like on other distributions where it takes months or years for new things to materialize. You can build it yourself, right? Not like other distributions where they keep the build things secret or whatnot. We publish everything, including all the reproducible package manager build environment things. So you and companies can build firmware and release ISOs themselves. It is the most accessible, the easiest package format to work with, the least code to work with, no cursed domain-specific custom language syntax things, and shell, because most packaging things at the core are shell, right? The most portable, no cursed Python things, but shell scripting that also works on BSD and macOS. And proving here with a minimal core team, sure, at Rock Linux we once were 100 people, 100 developers, but now for a decade there were only 5, now they are like 15 again or so, plus regular users and contributors. Over the years, over 1,000 people have contributed to Rock Linux NT2, as visible from the subversion history. 80,000, I mean, it's 82,338 revisions, right? All right, I wanted to update that probably here, then it is on Repology soon. Don't tell me, this, yeah, we are 0 drop frames. Yeah, just while you're live on stuff working, the next thing's trickling in here any minute. If you want to add stuff, if 6,000 packages are not enough, you can simply click here on You packages, popular projects here in 5+ repository families of stuff, and one freaking password. That is a thing on freaking Linux. That's like binary only or whatnot. It's surely not source. Or let's click here on some random thing. Some binary only thing or what? Binary native code things? Or thank you very much. You had me at one password. Okay, not the greatest fan. Better don't send me a patch for that. 30 minutes behind. Just said once more ideas how to finance sustainable question. How you try talking with other Linux YouTubers? A video with them would increase exposure. Yes, we had in interviews. I mean, there are also how many, right? We had an interview with Brody, but yeah, one video is also. I mean, from we mostly. Right. I mean, we didn't get money, only some shares, likes, and subscribes, right? But yeah, there are not that many. I mean, you can always. Oh, this didn't copy. Wonderful. But realistically, we can also not build a sustainable business with some YouTubers. So some more serious business. Like I mean, I had calls with Futo, which like, even if we would get some small Futo grant, which initially they said. I wanted to copy this also. Initially it sounded positive, but so far nothing. That's always, people always think like, yeah, just talk with someone, you get some money. It's like, no. But otherwise, yeah. Also, we in general, that open source developer need to beg for donations is also ridiculous. Even with some German sovereign tech fund, I was like, basically, I full-time powered through that for 1 year, not only 3 months. Basically, as you see from the GitHub summary and the, although this is wrong, and the history, basically for 6 years very much, and the last years even more. I do here that much. Also, this is just preloaded for something else. I did here so much to get better chances to get funding from the German sovereign tech fund, and now they initially, like, I did not even apply yet because I thought we're not popular enough. After 25 years and doing all this stuff, we're not popular enough. This is why I tried to get into mainstream media, which they mostly ignored us, right? Because no, not Ubuntu or so. And obviously Phoronix doesn't like to publish about us because, like, nah, someone's not a fan. And at least we got on Golem, but not on Heise. So that was that here. Ironically, just that they put behind the paywall, which is like just open source stuff they need to put behind the paywall, which is also ridiculous. But at least one article better than none. We need in general a better formula for open source funding, that people need to beg for donations and need to do other things. And as you see, that is a full-time job. This is a team's versus a full-time job. Even if we would only do some small open source thing like our exact image, even that would be a full-time job if we would do more on this. We simply don't do more on this in the open because people don't want to pay for that. And yeah, even just running exact image more full-featuredly, whatnot. But like we had some initial sponsors 20 years ago. Since then, nothing, right? Like it's so much better starting codes than ImageMagick 20 years ago. And it's like, yeah, most people simply don't want to anything. I built a fresh ISO G5. No, have Firefox that if I build a fresh ISO, don't build a fresh ISO yourself. That is like, use our release. I think I even have here PowerC. The number one mistake is don't waste your time. Like, first install our stuff, right? You will have some build errors just because it's complex, right? And unless you build in a T2 environment and stuff. The best contribution is also, like, actually, if you want to test, actually, oops, I clicked here wrong. Actually, you can pre-test this. Why did I even mention this? We have here incoming, like, don't download the single files here. They were for testing. We have here x86 and PowerPC. So if you want, so This here would be for your G5. Did you say G5? Yes, G5. That should be tested by Chris, and that should work. We did so much, right? We even imported fixes for Vagrant. We fixed Firefox, like upstream Firefox does not even start. It crashes. Even if you patch it not to crash, then it has false colors. Like, so sure, there are other people who did some stuff, but we had to polish it further. Like, even debugging and finding it, like, even that is a full week work. Because like, if you start, you're not, there are only very few other people to work on this stuff, right? And you're not starting with Googling, has someone else randomly done something? And so most distributions are also, obviously, I mean, how many PowerPC distributions are there, right? We patched it even, I found patches for Vagrant. Vagrant didn't work, right? I even imported Vagrant patch and had to rebase it like slightly, some lines of code. But that's also not upstream, right? I had to import other people's years old stuff that's also not upstream and fix it a little bit, right? So even Vagrant works on our PowerPC ELF version 2 ABI again. And so on and so forth. Theoretically, there is a huge mountain of stuff. My to-do is literally 900 lines long. I kid you not. Okay, we did quick shell. We did the other things. So what else did you want? I mean, I have here 900 lines of to-do. What else did you also? Right, secure boot. Did I put secure boot here somewhere? Secure boot. If you want secure boot, is the secure boot person still here? If we do secure boot is using our own key and you have to import that enough, or is that also not good enough? Because, spoiler, Microsoft will probably have a hard time signing our stuff. Also, I wouldn't want to deal with other certificate authorities too. Another thing I've spotted is that unless you build OpenBLAS with dynamic order, you will very slow. You will be very slow on Core 2 Duo. Interesting. Probably should save that. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff. Patches welcome, reports welcome. Most things should be super easy. What was it? OpenBLAS, right? I could look into that. Right, lines of to-do, probably 1,000, yeah, 1,064, but that is some new lines and some marketing slogans and things. So effectively 999 effective to-do things probably. And yeah, don't build an ISO. Don't start building an ISO. Just like install it like Debian or FreeBSD. And first enjoy it. Like only, like rebuilding T2 is overrated. Like use our pre-builds, yet like you would macOS or stuff. We opened some things. We packaged it. Yeah, patches for the things welcome. What else did I wanted to say? Mostly that I think T2 is a huge contribution because it is so efficient, and it should just prove, and we need to spread the word, how efficient T2 is, that so few, the Debian people once called us unsuccessful woman distribution. So few people can do so much. That is how efficient, low code and scalable, ultra scalable business slang, marketing speech, and low code it is, right? Now we just need to do the last 1% of polishing it to start desktop, and then the contribution is keeping all the architectures alive. And last but not least, I really need your help, and share, like, subscribe, and donate. I'm not asking this because I'm so rich, because we really need funding. I absolutely overspend our budget here, and my controllers are already pulling their gray hairs out. And we have, like, if we do not significantly put more work into this, upstream has deleted DRI2. So the last ISO ships was last Mesa. The current Mesa, the just fixed Big Endian NVIDIA doesn't work anymore, or others. So there are many things like this where if we do not put significant work in, it will not continue to just work. And all those things making DRI3 or whatnot work in Novo, or other things, porting it back and forth. Do you have Firefox ESR? Not really, because we rather stay with latest and greatest. That doesn't make the super most sense for us. If companies ship, I mean, we could always do that. But for us, as outlined here, I mean, yeah, always welcome. We could always, if demand is there, but demand is not there. But if demand there, the demand is mostly for making T2 a AAA desktop first distribution so that German businesses or European businesses and governments can use this and get sovereign, independent from big US tech and all the sanctions and spies. And also for home users, right? Like for everyone playing along at home. So to be able to just use it. That is the biggest demand. And the second biggest demand is SBC board to have more SB, but even that is significant work. Like, so I need to get boards that I don't have. I need to hunt the patches. I need to test them. I need to potentially forward, back and forth port them, right? So there is huge monumental mountain of more work to do if we want to come through. Plus, of course, the elephant or the elephant in the room, smartphones, right? Theoretically, of course, we would want to do our own smartphone builds. This is why we already packaged this Foch shell the other month. But that is, of course, not complete, or we have KDE Plasma. The elephant in the room is if we want to have absolutely amazing working smartphone stuff. We need more. I'm not even, I mean, if we want designed in Germany and made mostly in Europe smartphone stuff, then realistically we would even need to go as far as packaging all of Android, which, because like realistically, even if we do KDE, like even the post market OS people told me in person, yeah, we're not daily driving it, right? It's like, nah, it's like you need to be extremely hardcore if you want daily drive it. And realistically, like if normal people want all the Android apps, then of course we would need to T2 Android custom build ROMs. But that is for another day. Yeah, ARM SBC things are hellish. That is why out of the box we do currently not support more. But that is, as we outline here, the next big things. And unfortunately, what we need to do, right? This is the kind of stuff, the next valuable things that few people do, and basically make T2 next after 6,000 plus packages, the hundreds of SBC things. It's not only ARM, but also RISC-V, and make all this support great. Not again, but finally once and for all. I hope you enjoyed, learned something. We drifted a little bit off into package creation, but basically, otherwise, it is so amazing and just working, as you can imagine here. I had here some other mode, and then here, what else do we have here, right? So that's not a joke. That's full desktop Linux, and of course, as you all know, it is so amazing. I even live stream from that, right? Jupyter 1, AMD custom APU, 0405, Steam Deck. So with some 50 watt DDP, I run here multi displays. Like this is literally T2 native here running. All this stuff here, OBS Hyperland, right? I'm Kool-Aid drinking here. I'm also wrong. I'm literally live streaming. Why does this not? Oh, why does OBS not? Wait, this is funny. Why can I not move the OBS window in? This usually worked before. That is this some move on display blocking stuff? That is funny. I mean, there it is. Usually I could just move it over. Interesting. Maybe there is a move on other monitor blocking protocol thing that I was not aware of. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoy this as much as we do. More and more people enjoy T2 also for minimal containers and Windows subsystem for Linux. We have a specific download there for that now too. And next we need to just make all the stuff work better, bring it to the stores. Here is that if you want it. You see it there. Should I link it there? And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for every donation we might receive now or later here or all the other platforms. Oh, and of course we have audio, right? If you like our themed AI music, that would be here. I just can't play just this so long because otherwise my own video gets demonetized and then it's right. That is why 10 minutes of as amazing songs as if it sometimes doesn't play. This is some strange Firefox bug, my own. I mean, the irony is when I implemented this, it worked. But let's better use this here anyway. If just some variants of that.
I drift through endless starlight, woven threads of time, tracing arcs of reason, rhythms in their prime, in shadows of the cosmos, whispers left behind. I'm stitching up the fabric, unseen, undefined, a pulse in ancient data, faint yet running true.
The preferred donation method is where the least overhead. So best is PayPal Direct or Patreon. YouTube and other things take more, right? So YouTube probably take 30% or whatever, something of that sort. And Twitch might take even more, at least from subscriptions. I think they take 50%. Although we are working on becoming higher level creator, I think the more you share, like, and subscribe on Twitch, we might get down to 30 maybe soon eventually. And maybe go buy me coffee is also okay. So basically the more direct, like, yeah, if it's more direct, it's only some percentage of loss, and all the TV multimedia broadcasting things take a whopping 50 or 30%. So best not Twitch, best not YouTube, and then best the others. Thank you for asking, and hope you enjoyed this, learn something, and see you next time.